Sweet, let's rock and roll. All right, announcements for this week. We have a workshop next Wednesday. Tentatively, we're doing Intro to Godot, up in the air currently. We'll just kind of play by ear, depending on if we're able to kind of get something arranged. But your dues, Ethan's not here today, so unfortunately you'll have to wait on that. But t-shirts, we're gonna get those as well at some point, so just keep an eye out. Game Jam. So we kind of have the official date sort of locked in, or dates, I should say. It's going to be November 8th to 9th. That weekend is like, I think 2 weeks before Thanksgiving or so. So if you don't know, Game Jam is our 48-hour like official competition where we kind of try to give you a theme and see what you can do in 48 hours according to that theme. So what's up? 48. It's yeah.
Actually,
That's 48. Or is it wrong?
No, 8 to 10.
Oh shit. It's Friday to I think that's Sunday. So I might have put the date wrong. Whatever. Point is 48 hours. So
It'll be an announcement.
yeah, there'll be an announcement, formal thing like that. So anyway, today's meeting is on character design. If you didn't know that already. So obviously, one of the more important things that goes actually into like creating a character is like brainstorming. So of course, like you got to figure out like sort of like backstory and stuff like that of like kind of what like builds your character in terms of like a narrative sense, and like does the story kind of contribute to like their design? Like I don't know, maybe they have like a sword or something that like was like passed down to them from. Why'd you put this in slides? I know, it was funny. Okay, sorry. But like, does their like design or like, does the story contribute to their design sort of like mentality of like, oh yeah, like does something? Do they have a scar that maybe came from like a battle that was significant, etc. Okay.
Friends, Goku. No.
Wait, this is actually saying.
Yeah.
Dude, where'd you find this?
I saw it in a meme like 2 years ago.
Okay. Anywho, so character questions, so things you kind of want to ask. So like, who are you? So I guess things your character would ask are like, who are they? What like motivates them? What are their hopes and dreams for the future? Biggest fears and regrets? Kind of just like things that go into like deciding who they are can really help like actually establish their visual identity as well as their strengths and weaknesses. So creating your own. So you're gonna want to like create your own questions and answer them. So like obviously like, oh yeah, like maybe I don't know, they're like a wizard. What is their like source of power, etc. Kind of like stuff like that. It's always good to like kind of look at existing works from like other people. Use kind of like, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Kind of like you can use sort of like archetypes and stuff like that that have already been established as like a sort of like base to start with, and kind of deviate from there. As well as like looking at other media, you don't have to just look at video games. There's like characters in any type of media really. So now the fun part, in my opinion, how to make them look good. So what do you want their design to convey is probably one of the biggest things for like kind of what you want, as well as like what role are they going to be filling within your game, either from like a narrative standpoint or mechanical standpoint, because like Overwatch is a pretty good example, whatever you may think about it, of like most of the characters generally kind of depict how they sort of play in a sense. Like obviously like Reinhardt, big tank guy with a hammer, is gonna move pretty slowly and hit hard compared to like someone like Lucio, who like looks like he goes fast, sort of thing. Make sure also you're gonna want to try to make sure like stylistically it might fit within your world if you have like the rest of that kind of figured out. Putting Fall Guys into like Left 4 Dead won't look super cohesive compared to like something like, oh yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, where like the character looks like they fit in the world, sort of thing. And also like, you know, if how they look will also influence how people kind of see them, and like kind of infer things from that. So like personality is one of the biggest things with that. Going to go into a little bit color theory. Also, let me preface that this is not like exhaustive. There's way more that goes into character design that I'm just covering in this meeting, but I'm just giving you pretty much spark notes on it. So, like, can anyone name this like these sets of characters for me? Not you, Jimmy. Not you, Jimmy. You got it. Sweet. So, obviously, like, you know, all of these characters are pretty iconic from like just looking at the colors, because you can kind of tell immediately like, oh yeah, like red hat, red shirt, overalls, that's Mario. Like you don't need to like. Can you talk a little quieter real quick? But you don't need to like be told that's Mario. You can pretty much guess from looking at him. And colors are, I don't know what happened. Colors can help like remember like one character from another. Like in Street Fighter example, like Ryu and Ken, like they are pretty similar in like play styles in like the earlier games, I'm pretty sure, but like they have really distinct like visual identities that like help make them easy to tell apart when you're playing. Generally, it's a good practice of like no two characters should have the exact same colors, because that makes it kind of pretty hard to tell who's who a lot of the time. You can, I did start the recording. Generally, like you can have the same color schemes potentially, but like not exactly the same, because then you're just gonna be like, who is this half the time when you look at two characters side by side. Like Fire Emblem, for example, like half the characters have blue hair in that, so it's kind of hard to tell like who's who, unless you play the games a ton. But another thing is also like color can kind of like show emotions, and you can break from this, of course, but like knowing like actually how to like work with it is important. So like obviously like red can be like kind of like more like passionate or like anger, stuff like that. Like orange is pretty like energetic and like charming a lot of the time. Like yellow is like happy. Most people depict it as that. Green is like either like gross or nature. Blues are usually like sad or like kind of more relaxed. Purple is often more like a royal color, just because of like historical, like, oh yeah, purple's been a hard color to like reproduce. And then like grays are usually like more mysterious or like reserved. White is like more like pure and clean, and then brown, I don't know. Someone wrote boo. Brown's more like natural, I guess is a better way to put it.
I don't want to interrupt, but like the gray, the dark gray, that's supposed to be black.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, I guess so you can read it. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, but black, more like mysterious and like kind of, you know, generally not as good. So like oftentimes like character designs will kind of try to have a like limited color palette just to kind of like make them pretty like distinguished by their color. Like obviously like Sonic, his most iconic color is the blue of his like fur. I don't know what it is. Quills, yeah, whatever it is. But so like try to limit your color palette. You don't want to have like your gangster Mario with like.
Is it the gangster Mario image?
It's something like that, but yeah, I think just like there's not like one kind of color here that like, you know, is like the one recognizable one, and like I'd just be like visually distracting in like anything you put them in, because obviously your attention's drawn to it, but not in a good way. So like less is often better. So like have maybe like two main colors at most, and then like a couple secondary ones, which is a lot easier also when you're doing like sprite work. Way less work to like animate like couple colors compared to like doing 50 colors. So something to keep in mind. What is it? Oh, someone already forgot. What's up?
I can go back to the one.
The first. This one.
Noticed that instead of like, for example, like using a different shade of brown for the hair and the boots, they use the same shade. This is a similar thing that's done across many characters. Because instead of using variants of like colors, they try to stick to like a single color, not just like you don't want to use like a cyans and a blue and a dark blue and
Yeah, not too many like shades or different like kind of stuff like
like
that.
a shade is another color. One.
Right, just keeping it limited to help just for identification and stuff like that. So, shape theory is another thing that's like also pretty like common with a lot of character design stuff. So like you can probably recognize like pretty much, I'd imagine most, if not all of these characters just from like their silhouette, and that's largely due to like their shape. So your characters should greatly differ, like have some difference in like height and size, just to be able to like tell them apart. Because like, you know, if you put like, I don't know, bring up Mario again. Mario next to like Luigi, they have a difference in height that's noticeable enough where you're not just gonna be like, oh, that's two Marios kind of thing. A good character design is pretty much always recognizable with just their silhouette. Shapes are also good because they can kind of like simplify like sort of design tropes in a sense. So like good character designs often like consist of like kind of like a similar or like one entire shape repeated throughout their design. So like Kirby, for example, he's like round, of course, and like generally circles kind of read more as like sort of like friendly and like nice. And pretty much all of Kirby's body is made up of circles or like a distorted circle of some kind, compared to like other end of like Bowser. Bowser looks very sharp because of all like the like triangular kind of like aspects to his design, which like, you know, he's a bad guy, so he's gonna look more mean. But shape also includes like posture and size. So like, oh yeah, if they have like a hunchback, like what does that kind of tell you about them? Or like, oh yeah, if your character's like Homer Simpson large kind of thing, like is it gonna like how does that kind of help influence their like design and what you see them as? So like some examples being like, if you know the previous president of the club, Mitch, this is his profile picture. It's like a little shark guy, and it has like pretty much two main colors of like a blue and a gray. And like the hunched back is kind of like meant to like look a little more intimidating sort of thing. This is like a random thing I had through the other day that I was like, because I was bored in class, of like a hot dog wizard, and like, you know, blue and beige are kind of like the two predominant colors there, with like a secondary color of like pink, and like sort of like the gesture and like sunglasses kind of help influence like the chill vibe I was going for. So, thanks. Okay, so now it's time to, you know, make your own. So we're actually doing a fun little activity today. So we're gonna do, I think like 15 minutes. Yeah, about 15 minutes. What? Oh yeah. I don't know how to do that.
It's the one that says dock on the camera. Press it.
Dude, I'm literally blind. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, so basically you have 15 minutes to like kind of use what we kind of talked about today, or like anything else you know prior, and you're gonna sketch out like a character, just whatever character you want. It doesn't have to be like a theme or anything, unless you want me to give you a theme. And we're basically gonna do this like champed up from Jackbox, if you know what that is, where we're basically gonna put them like side by side, and people are gonna vote on which one. And if you participate at all, I've got some fun stickers. So I know meme stickers, yeah. Get hyped. Yeah, and they can be like a joke character too, if you want. Just put in a little bit of effort at least, and don't do anything like gross, I guess. So, but yeah, so 15 minutes. I'll start the timer now, and then yeah, we'll kind of have them go head to head. So I encourage you to just try if you want. Like, that's all you need to do if you want a sticker. So.
Hi, yeah, so the video recording got corrupted and all the video got lost. And also the audio wasn't really recorded right. This whole video was a nightmare, honestly. So I had to step through the slides manually, so sorry if anything was delayed as far as the slides go. But yes, here are the reminders. What's important is that the game jam is on November 8th through 9th. And pay your dues if you haven't. Smiley face. I think those are the big ones. So without further ado, go forth, make games, and be awesome. Woo! Yeah! Yeah!